Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you are all fine. In our previous class, which lesson I taught? From that lesson, which concept I said? Yes, that lesson name is force and pressure. Okay. In that force and pressure, so first 2 minutes, I will recapitulate that. Okay. What is meant by force? Force is nothing but a push or pull or hitting. These are the things will come. Okay. Or external disturbance of an object. Even kicking also. Okay. So plucking, whatever. Okay. Generally, they are called it as push or pull of an object is called force. Otherwise, external disturbance of an object is called force. Okay. In that, we have seen in our previous class types of force. What is the types of force? Contact force and non-contact force. In my previous class, I explained about contact force. So contact force is nothing but when one object is going to contact either physically, okay, physically contact with each other. That case, we are call it as contact force. So one surface going to touch or contact with another surface. That is called contact force. For example, muscular force, frictional force. These two forces we have seen, right? Okay. Today's class, we are going to see that what is meant by non-contact force. Okay. In the word non-contact force, what you have understood? Non-contact, right? So contact, which means the two surface going to contact, right? So that means non-contact. That means what? Okay. Here, what is the non-contact force? If you look at the statement, okay, when you jump, you always return back to the surface, right? If you are jumping and again you have to come back again. Why? Is there anything that is holding your feet when you try to jump? For example, even in the high jump or in the long jump, if you are jumping certain stage or certain space, you can jump. After that second, what will happen to your body or what will happen to your feet? It will come back and touch into that earth surface. Do you know why I am saying this one? Okay, very soon I will say. Okay. Okay, the second example. When you throw a ball high up in the air, if you are throwing a ball, okay, high up in the air, it reaches the highest point and then it invariably return back. That is nothing but it is coming back, right? So even certain distance you can throw, whatever the distance, if you throw means after certain distance it reached, then after it will come back to its original position, right? So what kind of force is reasonable for this? Okay. Okay. So that force I will explain. Before that I will say what is mean non-contact force. Just wait. Okay. I think you know the answer. Anyway, just wait. So a non-contact force is a force applied to an object by another body. That means one body to another body that is indirect with contact with it. Direct contact should not be present. In the contact force we have seen no one surface and another surface both are contact with each other. But in the non-contact force, these two forces will not be contact with each other. There will be some space will be present in between those. Even though space is present, the force is either pushing or pulling will be there, right? That kind of force is called non-contact force. Okay. Okay. The non-contact forces come into play when objects do not have a physical contact between them. Yes, of course. So whenever there is no physical contact with each other, okay, that time the non-contact force going to play there, right? Play the role. So when a force is applied without any interaction, right? Okay. So in the next one, non-contact forces types. We can come to that. I said an example, no. From that, what kind of force will come? I think already you guessed. Anyway, the first force is what kind of force? Yes, it is a gravitational force. It's a familiar one, right? You heard this word, familiar word, right? Gravitational force. Because of the gravitational force only it will come back again. Okay, what is meant by gravitational force, sir? Okay, just see that when an object is resting on a surface, it is exerting a downward force equal to its weight. Remember this one. Suppose here one battery. Okay, I have taken one battery. Suppose I placed down. Okay, even though I placed it down, so there will be some downward force will be acting. This battery has some weight, no? That weight, okay, because of that weight and the downward force, because of this weight, that downward downside, one force is acting. That force is called gravitational force. Okay, so remember this one. When an object is resting on a surface, it is exerting a downward force equal to its weight, and this downward force is called gravitational force. Okay, so I will take this remote. Okay, it has some mass, that means it has some weight. Okay, so if I dropped means it will fall down, right? Because of due to its weight, okay, there will be some gravitational force will be there, right? Okay, actually it will not based on the weight. Okay, we can explain in the 9th standard, but anyway you have to know it will be equal to its weight. Some gravitational force will be there, some pulling force, right, will be there because of that earth, right? Because earth have a huge mass, huge weight, right? Okay, so the gravitational force is the force of attraction that exists between all bodies that have mass. Okay, so mass means what, sir? Mass is nothing but how many particles congested, or how many particles are there in a single object. How many particles, how many atoms, how many protons, neutron, electrons. Okay, the gravitational force is a force of attraction that exists between all bodies that have mass, right? So any body, any object, if you have taken, it consists of some atoms, right? So that atoms, in the number of atoms, there are number of molecules present in the object, it is called mass. Okay, so generally I will say any object which has some weight, between that two there will be some gravitational force will be there. Because earth, consider the earth, why you are throwing any object it will come back again means earth has huge mass, big, very big mass, and if you are throwing means that object has very less mass, right? So even though it has less mass, there will be some attraction force between earth and that object. The force of attraction between one object to another object, then it is called gravitational force. Okay, okay, so the gravitational is a force of attraction that exists between the masses, we already seen. Okay, have you seen this example, right? So that Isaac Newton, so he is sitting here, and that time under the tree he is sitting there. So that time one apple is fell down, so he thrown that apple again. So once it will reach certain distance, again it will come back again, right? Again it will come back. So he have one idea why it is coming. If I am throwing upwards means it should go upwards only, no? Why it should come back again? So there will be create some enthusiastic idea of for Newton, right? Okay, he only discovered that gravitational force, right? He postulated some theory also based on that. Okay, okay, the gravitational force of the sun keeps the earth, right? Because of the sun having huge gravitational, maximum amount of gravitational force, that only it has holding all the planets and even the celestial objects. Celestial object is nothing but which are the objects are just present in that universe, in that sky, that time, that is called that celestial body. So all the celestial body have some gravitational force. The sun having more gravitational force, due to the gravitational force, more gravitational force of the sun, it can keeps all the planets of the solar system, okay, in a fixed orbit, right? It should be rotating in fixed orbit, no. So the gravitational force does not need to be in contact to exert in downward force, right? So there will be no contact. For example, for the sun and the earth, there will be no physical contact with each other, right? That body and this body both are not physically contact with each other. So even that case, in between that two, one force is acting. That force is called gravitational force. So the gravitational force can be caused because of the two objects should be having some mass, certain mass. So whenever if you are taking any mass, even though it will be 0 point something, between the two there will be some gravitational force will be present, okay. It is not the property of only the earth, it is a property of the entire universe, okay. Okay, next one, that is called electrostatic force, okay. So the electrostatic force, first one, the electrostatic force is very similar to gravitational force, right? Yes, because it will be not contact with each other, right? So the difference here being that gravitational force acts between the masses, right? Between two masses. If any object, if I have taken, see here, for example, here I have taken the two batteries, okay. So between these two, there will be some gravitational force will be there, okay, between the two, okay, because it has some mass and this battery also having some mass. So whenever if you have taken any two object, between that two there will be some gravitational force will be present, okay. Okay, the next one, the difference here being that gravitational force acts between masses, of course, and the electrostatic force acts between two charged bodies. Sir, what is meant by charged bodies? For example, see here, if I had taken this battery, so now I am saying this is one neutral body, okay, because it consists of proton and even neutron, electron, everything, right? Right. Otherwise, we can say it will be having small atoms, small molecules are combined in this one battery, right? So in that each and every atom there will be some small particle will be there, right? That is called some small particles. That is called proton and neutron and electron. It will be revolving around that atoms, okay. Okay, suppose if I have taken this, I am going to rub with in my shirt, okay. I am going to rub vigorously, okay. So if I am rub vigorously means that proton or electron, it will displace from one object to another object. Maybe it can go from this object to my shirt, or from my shirt to some electrons it will go there. There will be some change in charged, okay, because every objects are having some charged particles, okay. So either if you are applying a force, any force, once you applied force and leave it that for a less amount of time, that time it will displace the charges and all, it will be displaced, okay, the charges and all going away, or if the charges will be attracted by another body. So that time we are call it as charged bodies, okay. See here, this is one crazy example, okay. Suppose if they are rubbed with vigorously each other, okay, rubbed with each other in the metal piece, and then if they have taken near, that means, okay, so this object can capable for attracting the hair, right? Because even our hair also having lot of small particles, okay. I will say one practical example, okay. Take a comb and rub it. This example you already heard, I think so. Take a comb and rub it vigorously, and take a small pieces of paper, okay. Rub that comb vigorously and keep that comb near the small pieces of papers. The small pieces of papers will attract to the comb. So this kind of force, what is this? This kind of force. So this kind of force is called electrostatic force, okay. So see here, so if you rub a comb on your clothes and then hold it near tiny pieces of paper, you will see the bits of paper standing on there and attracted to the comb, okay. So this is the electrostatic force. We will continue the next slide. Okay, so until just wait.